He was a billionaire used to controlling everything. Yet the moment he met Isabella, a breathtaking model, he felt completely powerless. Until the truth about her past turned his world upside down in the most unexpected, heartwarming way. The ballroom shimmered under golden chandeliers. Crystal glasses clinked as laughter floated through the air. Alexander, the billionaire, adjusted his cufflinks, feeling a rare flutter of nerves. Tonight was special. He was marrying Isabella, the stunning model who had captured his heart. Her smile lit up the room, soft and warm. Guests whispered about her elegance, her grace, the way she moved like liquid silk. As they danced, Alexander felt every worry melt away. Isabella rested her head lightly on his shoulder, her perfume like a gentle breeze. A soft voice interrupted the music, pulling Alexander aside. A close friend looked at him with hesitance, a secret ready to spill. Alexander's pulse quickened, a strange tension threading through his chest. "Alexander, there is something you must know about Isabella," the friend said, voice low. He felt the room tilt slightly, the chandeliers blurring into streaks of light. Isabella's hand squeezed his as if sensing the shift in his mood. "She has something to tell you herself," the friend whispered, stepping back. Alexander turned, facing Isabella. Her eyes shimmered with vulnerability, her hands clasped tightly in front of her. "Alexander," she began, voice trembling yet steady, "there is something important about my past you deserve to know." He nodded, heart tightening with anticipation, bracing for a revelation. Isabella took a deep breath, her gaze never leaving his. "I was born different than you might have assumed," she said softly. The words hung in the air, heavy with truth and courage. Alexander felt a surge of emotions, a storm of shock, curiosity, and a deep, unexpected tenderness. He studied her face, her eyes filled with honesty and trust. The music around them faded into a quiet hum. Isabella's hand found his, warmth spreading through his fingers. "Everything I am today, everything I love about life, is who I have worked to become," she continued, voice steadying. Alexander felt the tension unravel, replaced with awe at her bravery. He realized that the person who stood before him, radiant and kind-hearted, had been completely honest with him. The world outside seemed to pause, giving space to this moment of truth. Alexander reached for her hands, holding them as if they were the most precious objects in the universe. "You are the person I fell in love with," he said, voice strong and steady. Her eyes filled with tears, but not of fear, of relief and gratitude. The ballroom seemed to shimmer brighter, golden light wrapping around them like a gentle embrace. "Your past does not change the way I feel," Alexander whispered, voice soft and unwavering. Isabella exhaled. A weight lifted, a smile breaking through tears. In that instant, every doubt and fear dissolved. Love had always been about understanding, courage, and connection. Alexander drew her close, heart and soul open, embracing every truth she carried. She rested against him, a quiet sigh of peace, knowing she was fully seen and fully loved. The guests continued to celebrate, yet for Alexander and Isabella, the world narrowed to this one perfect, heart-melting moment. Alexander realized that love was never about perfection. It was about honesty, compassion, and courage, and in that light, they began a journey stronger than any they had ever imagined. They walked through the garden under a sky painted with twilight. The air smelled of blooming jasmine, delicate and sweet. Alexander held Isabella's hand tightly, feeling the rhythm of her heartbeat. She leaned her head on his shoulder, warmth spreading through him. They reached a quiet fountain, water glistening in the fading light. Isabella smiled softly, eyes reflecting the stars above. "I never imagined feeling this safe," she whispered. Alexander brushed a strand of hair from her face, marveling at her courage. "Safety is knowing we are honest with each other," he said gently. Her fingers traced small patterns on his hand, tender and deliberate. "I feared rejection," she admitted, voice small but clear. Alexander shook his head. heart swelling with love. Every part of you is beautiful to me, he said firmly. Tears glimmered in her eyes, shining with relief and trust. They sat by the fountain, watching water ripple and sparkle. I have always dreamed of being truly seen, Isabella confessed. And now you are, Alexander whispered, pulling her closer. A soft breeze carried their laughter, mingling with the gentle splash of the fountain. Time seemed to slow, each second stretching into eternity. Alexander kissed her forehead, a promise of unwavering support. You are my heart, my truth, and my home, he murmured. Isabella closed her eyes, leaning fully into the warmth of his embrace. The stars above bore witness to a love that had faced uncertainty and emerged stronger. In that quiet, glowing moment, they understood that their bond was unbreakable. Love had become a living, breathing presence between them. Tender and steadfast, they stayed there, wrapped in each other, letting the world fade away. The fountain's gentle music and the cool night air became the soundtrack of their new beginning. Alexander knew that every fear and every doubt had led them here to complete acceptance. Isabella's heart beat in perfect harmony with his, steady and unafraid. They rose, hands intertwined, ready to face life together with courage and compassion. Each step felt lighter, filled with promise and hope for the journey ahead. In the stillness of that magical night, love had triumphed, radiant and true. Alexander and Isabella walked back to the house, their hearts aligned, carrying the quiet strength of shared truth. The world could not shake what had been built in honesty and care. They entered the house together, smiles soft, eyes bright, hearts unburdened. Every glance, every touch, reinforced a bond that nothing could undo. They knew that life would have challenges, yet nothing could dim the light between them. Alexander whispered, "We are exactly where we belong." Isabella rested her head against his chest, listening to the steady beat of love that had brought them here, and in that gentle, unshakable embrace, they found home in each other. Morning sunlight filtered through the tall windows, casting a warm glow across the room. Alexander and Isabella sat together at the breakfast table, hands still intertwined. The aroma of fresh coffee and baked bread filled the air. She laughed softly at a small joke he made, the sound bright and comforting. He watched her, heart swelling with quiet gratitude. "Thank you for trusting me," Alexander said, his voice gentle. Isabella smiled, eyes glistening with sincerity. "I never felt so understood," she replied, squeezing his hand. They moved through the day together, side by side, simple gestures carrying profound meaning. Alexander watched her water the garden, sunlight catching strands of her hair. She paused, looking over her shoulder, and smiled at him with pure warmth. He realized that love was not just grand gestures, but these moments of quiet connection. Later, they sat on the veranda, feet brushing the soft grass, sharing stories and dreams. Isabella leaned her head on his shoulder, her voice soft and content. "I feel safe with you," she whispered, the words carrying the weight of her past and hope for the future. Alexander kissed the top of her head, feeling an overwhelming tenderness. "Always," he promised. "I am here, completely." The sky shifted to shades of orange and pink as the sun set, reflecting the peace in their hearts. They watched in silence, savoring the simple beauty of the world and each other. Every laugh, every gentle touch, deepened the bond that had begun in trust and courage. Night fell, but the warmth between them did not fade. They sat together under the stars, wrapped in a soft blanket, hearts beating in quiet harmony. Isabella rested her hand on his chest, feeling the steady rhythm beneath her palm. Alexander whispered stories of hope and dreams, and she listened, eyes shining with love. In the calm of the night, they realized that honesty and acceptance had created something extraordinary. It was more than love. It was a sanctuary built from courage, trust, and kindness. Alexander held her close, knowing that together they could face anything. Isabella smiled, feeling the unwavering support and care that had always been her dream, and in that gentle embrace, they began a life filled with warmth, understanding, and endless love. The first light of dawn painted the sky in soft pastels. Alexander and Isabella walked along the quiet beach, sand cool beneath their feet, the waves lapped gently, a soothing rhythm that matched the calm in their hearts. She held his hand tightly, fingers interlaced, a silent promise of togetherness. He looked at her, feeling awed the strength and honesty that shaped her soul. They stopped to watch the horizon, the sun slowly rising, casting gold across the water. Isabella rested her head on his shoulder, breathing in the salty, fresh air. "I never imagined mornings like this," she whispered, voice full of wonder. Alexander smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Every day with you feels like a new beginning," he said softly. Seagulls circled above, their cries mixing with the gentle murmur of the sea. Isabella laughed quietly, a sound that filled the vast space with warmth. They walked farther along the shore, leaving footprints that the tide would soon erase. Each step was light, yet heavy with the significance of shared trust and love. Alexander felt a profound peace, knowing they had faced truth and emerged stronger. She turned to him, eyes shining, and whispered, "Thank you for loving me completely." He cupped her face in his hands, looking into her eyes with unwavering devotion. "I will always love you," he replied, voice steady and full of certainty. The sun climbed higher, golden light embracing them, a mirror of the love that had grown between them. They paused, holding each other, hearts beating in quiet synchrony. The world around them felt still, as if honoring the purity of their connection. Alexander realized that love was not about perfection, but about acceptance, courage, and tenderness. Isabella leaned closer, resting fully in the warmth of his embrace, feeling safe and cherished. The waves whispered against the shore, carrying a promise of countless tomorrows together. Hand in hand, they continued along the beach, hearts full, ready to face life's journey side by side. Every moment was a testament to honesty, compassion, and the extraordinary bond they shared. The horizon stretched endlessly before them, filled with light, hope, and unwavering love. They walked on, wrapped in each other, knowing that whatever the world held, they would face it together. The evening sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of amber and rose. Alexander and Isabella stood on the balcony of their home, the soft breeze brushing their faces. The world below was calm, the city lights beginning to twinkle like distant stars. She rested her head on his shoulder, feeling the steady warmth of his presence. He wrapped his arm around her, holding her as if nothing could ever break the bond between them. "Every moment with you has been a gift," Isabella whispered, voice tender and full of gratitude. Alexander smiled, eyes shining with quiet pride and love. "And every day forward will be too," he said softly, pressing a gentle kiss to her temple. They watched the horizon together, hearts in perfect rhythm, knowing that their journey had only just begun. In that peaceful silence, they understood the depth of what they had built. Trust, honesty, and a love unshakable. The stars began to emerge, one by one, as if blessing their union from above. Hand in hand, they stepped inside, the warmth of home surrounding them, hearts overflowing with quiet joy. Life awaited them, with all its challenges and wonders, yet they felt ready together, united and completely seen. And in that moment, they knew that love, in its purest form, was enough to illuminate even the darkest paths. The night embraced them, gentle and infinite, as they moved forward, side by side, into a lifetime of shared dreams, laughter, and unwavering devotion. The story of Alexander and Isabella closed on a note of serene happiness, a testament to the power of truth, courage, and a heart willing to love fully.